Hi everyone, Shawn back from the SciFi Model Guy, and welcome to Chapter 3 of the dual build series of AMT's 650 scale Enterprise. Really learning a lot in this one, you guys, because we're doing a lot of modifications to this kit, a lot of additions that aren't normally there, a lot of little lights added, a little features and things like that. So it's going to be really cool at the end. Now in this episode, you guys, we are going to learn a little bit about modifying the ends of the nacelles, or the back ends of them that Michael had asked for. So here's one of them. There's some putty on that you're going to learn about in a few minutes here. And so if you're following along with me and doing that modification, you definitely want to watch this video and see what we've learned from that. Other than that, most of the lighting is done on the kit, and we're almost getting ready to start gluing the pieces together and having the fun job of painting it and doing all the wiring. But almost all the wiring's done. It's got some really cool stuff going on here. We've got some neat things going on with the fantail that aren't included in the kit. They are in the 350 scale, but I decided to add them here. So I'm going to give you a little sneak peek there. There's a little masking right there going on. So that's going to be cool. And the little solution that was found to get those to light up is pretty interesting, and it's working. So that'll be next week, you guys. I'm just giving you a little preview there. Hope everyone is having a wonderful new year. It's already the 7th. We're a week into 2025, so only 51 more to go until we get to 26. But there's going to be a lot of model building and a lot more videos coming up until that happens. So we'll see you guys down the road, and take care. Okay, everyone, here, let's talk about what we're going to do to flatten and get rid of this this here bubble on this back piece of the nacelle that Mike had asked for. So the good news is it came out good. The other one, I did the other one, and it came out pretty good. It's over there drying. I've got it primed and just looking for some flaws, and we'll have to do some putty and stuff. But it did work out, so I'm going to show you the technique I used to get rid of this thing on this one. And basically all we're going to do here is I just have a Dremel tool. This thing is actually a little cutting disc on here, if I can get it to focus for you. This is a little ball of plastic that was from the other one. It just kind of melted off, but there's a little thing here, so I'm just going to go carefully and just slowly dig this out. It takes quite a while. It took a lot of patience. I used various techniques such as the Dremel tool, just cutting slow pieces out a little at a time. I wanted to make sure not to chunk out the areas on the side here. We only wanted to get rid of this bubble, obviously. And when that was done, I got my old cutters and just clipped it around. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a video of like a farrier cutting a horse's hoof. It was kind of like that. I would just cut a little bit here, a little bit there, you know, just taking my time. And you know, I'm not going to document that on here on this section. I'm just going to talk about it here. So combination of the cutters here, just a little bit there, a little bit here, the sanding disc there. I think I actually used the bigger cutting disc, not the sanding disc, cutting disc. I used the bigger one a little bit. That was a little too aggressive for me. What I'm talking about is this one here. So if you can see here the size of that bubble compared to that, so like it would have been really easy for me to really take a gorge out of that. So I gave that one up. So I think I'm just going to stick with this one on this time. It's, you know, you can use whatever techniques you have available. If you have a Dremel tool, great. If not, you could probably just do it with you know, a cutting blade a little bit. Just take your time. The whole point of what I'm saying is patience. If you patiently do it, you can get that out and get it down. Then once it's out, you just sand it. The good news is that the part where the bubble is, you can see here, it's relatively flat. So once you get that kind of out, and it's also kind of curved about the same amount as our fingers are. So once I got that out, it was a pretty easy matter of just taking the sandpaper and just running it back and forth. And my finger was actually a perfect little curve to get this out, so it worked out. Anyway, that's it. And then once I get that done, I will come and record what I did to fill the hole, because there's going to be a hole here and we have to fill that. So I've got some styrene here and little pieces there and some other techniques that we're going to show that are going to fill that in and make it look great. And then we're going to drill them and have some customized nacelle caps there. So stick with us and we'll be right back. All right, so the second one is all done. It's took me about 15 minutes or so to get it all nice and smooth, and it is really nice. I think this one's going to turn out better now that I kind of know what's going on here. So one of the things before before I go further, now inside, if you're going to do this, inside this cap right over here, there's a little bump about where the end of my fingernail is there. It's just a piece of probably from the molding, whatever, but it's not perfectly flat inside here. So there's this little bump, and you're going to want to sand that down. And I just used the little grinding tool on the Dremel. I don't know about a sanding stick, would probably take a long time. You might be able to get at it if you had really sharp cutters to get in there and get it. But I just used one of these little guys here. It was this cylindrical grinding tool here for the Dremel. So I think I would go so far as to say that this technique, or this thing that we're doing here, would probably not be possible without a Dremel tool. So that's just from my thoughts right now. So anyway, the reason you're gonna have to grind that little piece down in there is because you need to have a flat flush. So what we're gonna be doing is taking this. Let me zoom out a little bit here. We're a little too tight. You're going to want to cut a little piece of styrene here, and this relatively thick stuff. It still can bend a little, but it's not flimsy. And you're going to want to put that back here. Okay, that's going to basically go like that to fill the hole, and it's going to give us an area like this to where it's flat. Now we're still going to have to fill this, but the first step is to put the thing in the back to give this, an area on top to put the stuff. Hopefully you all understand what I'm trying to get out of my mouth here. So anyway, I'm going to use a little bit of model cement here. I'm just going to go back. Whoop, that really came out, didn't it? That's right. I had to take the needle out of here, so it's a little bit gushed on me a little faster than I'm used to, but that's okay. Don't need much. Now, the modeling cement is preferable here, at least for this part that I'm doing, because it will, it's a welding. It actually does weld the plastic together. So I'm just going to use these tweezers here and get it straightened out for you. Okay. And if you have a little bit of a gap, that's okay. Now, one of the things you want to make sure, you want to tilt it on the side here and make sure that none of it's protruding out, because these little bits right here on these actually go into the end of the nacelle itself. So you don't want to have it sticking out, or you'd have to sand it down and get rid of it. So that's just something to keep in mind there. So let me actually push this down a little bit more. There we go. That came out right. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use some CA glue here, and it's actually give me a cool chance to show off a little thing that I came up with. So even though we have the model cement in there, I'm going to put some CA glue in there just so that I can start working with this now. Let me get a little bit back there. I don't need much. I just need enough to hold it. Well, that actually is quite a bit, but hopefully you know what I'm talking about here. So let's get in here and push some to the side there. And now for the thing that I was going to show off. Now, you've all seen the Insta set that we use, which is this stuff right here. It comes in the spray bottle. But the thing is, I've noticed when I'm spraying it, it'll spray over this big area. And I might be working with a little area like this, and I spray it and it goes all over. So I decided to put it in one of these little guys. These are these little bottles. I talk about them all the time. I use them for putting masking agent in. So I've got one of these for masking agent. It really helps you get tight areas there. But I figured it'd be also good for the Insta set. So this is actually the first time I'm going to be doing this. So I'm going to just do a drop or two there. And that way, hopefully you're seeing that. And there you go. So just give it a quick blow of some air there, and she's set. It's in there pretty good. I'm knocking it with my finger. It's not coming out. Now, that's good enough for us to continue here. Now, some of it came out there. Again, it's not a perfect seal back there, but that's okay. But that worked out really well. I really like that. probably uses up just about as much as spraying it, but you get it in a more controlled environment or controlled area. And there's my beautiful writing that says Instaset. Okay, now the styrene here, by the way, it's just cut simply with one of these blades here. You just score it. You just have to give it one little swipe. I'll give a quick demonstration if you haven't used this stuff before. I'll just cut, well, I'm going to have to cut some anyway. So let's make sure we're on the hobby mat. So I'm just going to score this way here. Just score it once there. And then I'm actually going to make some little pieces here because that's part of what we have to do anyway. So I'm just making 3 other scoring lines. Not pushing too hard really, but hard enough to make a little line there. So there you go. Hopefully you can see that. And then all you do is just snap them off. They come right off when you score them. And I'll break these individually with some pliers. I'll get a little pair of pliers there and there. And it's okay if they come in little pieces. That's what they're for. We're going to have to cut them even smaller in a minute here. Okay. Don't need that anymore. Okay. So there's this big hole. Now I have got this other piece here. I'm just going to test fit it. And it looks like I got to trim it down a little bit. That's pretty close. So let's get the good ones here because I need to make a nice little area. I may have cut a little too much. Well, not too much, but okay. I just got to cut some off of the corner. We'll just like that. And when you put these in, you want to really make sure that it's in there flush. And I got a little bit of a hangy over there. Okay. Okay. Oh, wow. Look at that. That is a pretty good fit. I mean, that fit in there like a puzzle piece. All right. Okay, so let's get this guy out. Make sure it's oriented the same way. We're just going to put a little bit of model cement there. Hopefully it won't gush out on me like before. Just a little drop. That'll spread out really, really well. And we'll put this piece in. Nice, there we go. All right. Fit right in there. Okay, so now we've got a little bit other areas here. Actually, I don't need to use those little pieces of styrene that I cut here. So these are gonna go away. Bye. Now what we're gonna do here is a really cool technique. Now, this is something I learned about recently. Some of you actually may know it, but it's very similar to the Instaset. So what we have here is some baking soda, not baking powder, just some standard baking soda there. And we're going to use this in combination with some CA glue. And this is a trick that I learned from Gary Ambrosia. If you guys are unfamiliar with Gary, he was our second guest on the SciFi workshop. And Gary is a model maker, a prop maker. He's done movie stuff. He's directed movies. He's acted in movies. He's a super creative guy. Knows all about how props are made in the movie industry, how models are made, miniatures and things like that. And he clued me into this technique, and it's basically CA glue or crazy glue and baking soda. Baking soda actually acts as the same thing as the Instaset. It activates the CA glue, but what it does do, what Instaset doesn't do, is it creates a filler. It creates kind of like a paste or a putty or a cement. It's a much better filling medium than this stuff is alone. and it hardens it right away. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm taking a little, maybe hopefully you can see. I'm filling in with this little gauze thingy. I don't know what to call it. I'm concentrating. So when I think like that, when I concentrate, words sometimes escape me. So I'm just putting the CA glue in here. Now I know there's other better mechanisms for delivering crazy glue. I just don't have any. I have to look that up. I have to get one of those little long needle things that people use. It always tends to dry up on me though. Okay. I just want to make sure I get enough in there because I can always sand it down. All right, almost there. The little cotton swab thing came off here, so it's not going in too well. Anyway, okay. All right, so now all we're going to do, we're just going to take this pinch of baking soda, and I'm going to, should do it over. And there it goes. And then I'm just going to shake off the rest. And there we go. And I'm going to take a paper towel. And it hardens up instantly. So we're left there with a little gap there. So I have to put a little bit more. Okay, sorry for that edit there. I had to go and find what I was looking for, which is this one here. So I'm going to put a little bit more right in there. There we go. This worked better. I wish I would have looked for this to begin with. I'll put a little bit more there. And you want to go a little bit over so that you can sand it down. And okay, so we're going to take the crazy glue or the baking soda. Let it do its magic there. Wipe it off. And voila, there we go. It's nice and filled. And you can see there the white, it looks just like the styrene we put in there because the baking soda is colored. And so this is already dry. It's not sticky at all. So now what we're going to do is just take our sandpaper, and since my finger is curved almost perfectly, the same contour as this, I can go back and forth. All right, so everything is pretty smooth there. I have one little gap right there that I'm going to just go ahead and fix with some putty. That'll fill in really nice and it'll dry. And that's it, everyone. So once that's good, we'll go ahead and light block all the insides of this here with black, and then we'll start drilling some holes and do some testing. But this is it, everyone. This turned out really good, and I want to thank Gary again for giving me that great technique of using the baking soda and CA glue to fill these little gaps and get a nice way to visualize where you filled in these gaps. It's a really great technique, and hopefully that helps some of you out there. So stick around, everyone. We'll come right back with another segment. Okay, folks, so I just wanted to show you here that the sanding down is all complete and I've filled it in. It doesn't look too good here from the way it's looking, but I can tell you here it is all smooth and really nice in there. So we use a combination of the CA glue with some baking soda, and then just some straight CA glue on the top to fill the last couple little bits, and then we really gave these are good sanding, so they're super smooth, and I'm really happy about this. So thanks again to Michael for suggesting that. Now I'm going to take these over and prime them. So in the hopes that I won't need to do any putty work. Odds are I probably will need to do some putty, but we'll find out. So that's what the primer will tell us. So when we do stuff like this, because they've got white and gray, when we do it all one color, it will show any little imperfections, and we can get some more putty in there and sand it down. But it's pretty good. I'm actually hopeful that we may not need any more putty, but we'll find out. See you in a flash. Okay, so here are the nacelle caps as they are right now. Now, I went ahead and painted them. I do have to say that I'm a little bit disappointed in what I did. So, just to let you know, if you can kind of see here, you can kind of see some dots right in there. And I did attempt to drill holes through here, and the intention was to get some light coming through to illuminate the back of these guys. Just needless to say, folks, it didn't work out for a number of reasons, most of which I think are due to the curvature of this. It was very hard to get a drill to go extremely straight through there. Now, the 350 scale, the 3-foot version of the Enterprise that has the options for the old school end caps, have this piece with the little holes already pre-drilled. I tried to duplicate that, but it just didn't work out. So you can see here, you can still kind of see these holes in there, and there are some little divots there in the plastic. It's really hard to see with the naked eye when I look back, but looking in on it, there's just some, some putty work we need to do here, as well as on this one too. You can see some cracks and stuff like that. So the other thing that happened was I made a stupid mistake, well, a silly one. When I was drilling through here on one of these things, I think might have been this one, I don't know which one it is, this one. When I was drilling through, I wasn't really paying attention, and a couple of them I drilled this way and actually popped out through here. So there is some obvious putty work there that I've done. Unfortunately, I don't think there's anything I can do to correct this, aside from just getting the X-Acto knife maybe and trying to scrape some of this out. But I have a feeling I'm going to end up doing more harm than good. So this one, this part of it anyway, I'm just going to leave alone and just consider that a lesson learned. So my apologies out there to Mike for this. I really tried. So what I'm going to do here, folks, is I'm going to put a little bit more putty on here. This is the color that we're going to be painting these pieces here. The final color, it's like a UN gray, I think. And I'll be getting this puttied up and painted a little bit better. And then what I'll do is I will make a decal that has the even dots that simulate the holes. I'll just do like some black dots there as a decal and lay that on. That way it'll be nice and symmetrical. I can design the decal without a problem. So anyway, a little lesson learned there. So if you're following along with me, I would avoid drilling any holes in here and just stick with the clearing of the bubble method that I had, and then you can just put the lines in there. It'll look a little better. I really have this thing up close, from viewing distance, it looks okay, with the exception of this is a little bit wonky there. This one came out fine, and we just got to do some putty work to get these cracks smoothed out, and then we'll move on. So anyway, yeah, I'm throwing this in here. Actually, the rest of the video that you're watching right now is already recorded and put together, but I'm recording this right now just to kind of show you, because I don't want you all to be following along on this method here and make the mistakes I did. So anyway, that's it for now, folks. We'll see you soon. And here we are, and we're going to talk a little bit about some lighting placement. Now, one of the things that I've learned, and probably many of you have as well, is when you're doing your lighting, it's really important to plan it out. And even though I've done this model a bunch of times, it still does help me to plan out where the lights are going to go. So for that, I just use a trusty little Sharpie here, and I just inscribe on the model here where the lights are going to go. And I usually just draw a little line there, and sometimes we'll put the number of lights on there. So when we're talking about the number of lights, what I'm referring to, get it down, are these LED strips. So for those of you who might be new to these LED strips, typically, at least all the ones I've seen, you have to lay down these lights in multiples of 3, because that's where this little terminal is. So there's 3 lights, then a terminal, another 3 lights, and another terminal. So that's where you want to cut them off. So you can have 3, 6, 9, 12, and so on. Typically for this for this kit, at least in the saucer section, we go with sections of 3. In the nacelle and the engineering hull, that's a different story. We usually go with 6 or maybe 9. But right now we're talking about the saucer section. So went ahead and laid them down, and you'll notice here. So here is the bow of the ship, the stern, port, and starboard. So turning it upside down, you'll notice I've got 3. I've got labels here or marks here for 3 on each side, and you'll see here these are some sprues there. I usually lay these down because I like to have them on an angle, and so that way I can kind of aim them so that they point inward or outward or however I may want it. Actually, I didn't even need to put these down. I was a little ahead of myself. Where I do need them, however, is on the perimeter of the not the perimeter, yeah, the outside of it, because we want these lights facing this mid section here, this guy. These are where these lights are. So I've found that it's useful to use these pieces of sprue. Again, in the unboxing, I say never throw away your sprue. This is one of the reasons, because I typically like to use the sprue to mount lights on. I can lay down some CA glue, position this on there, and then the lights have a nice sturdy base to stick outward. Some people will like lay down the light and kind of stand it up and put some glue so the glue will hold it up. I found it's just easier to go with this, because then you can use the sticky part of the tape to lay it on there, and then you've got a nice little groove to lay some CA glue, and it will hold right in there. I'll illustrate that later. Oh, by the way, it did turn out that this is working really wonderfully. Laying down, I'm just putting 1 drop of this stuff lands, and it spreads all the way through. So really liking this technique here that I thought of for the Instaset. Okay, so I've laid out these guys here. You might notice here also that there's a little rectangle here, and that says B. That's for the circuit board. That's where I put it there, and the reason it's angled right here, you'll notice I marked it here, and then I realized on the other side of this, where my fingers are, right here, there are sets of windows right here on the hull. So if we put the circuit board here on this area, that board will block the light, and these windows will not be illuminated. So we want to kind of angle that over here on the side. Okay, so the thing about the saucer section on this kit, it's very compact and tight, so you might even want to consider putting the circuit board in your display base. I've seen many people do that. All you have to do is just lay the wires through the through here, and you can definitely for the lights anyway, for your navigation and strobe lights, you can lay them in there. That's perfectly acceptable. I might do that one day, but I've found that it works fine just laying it in here. I don't have a problem. I might get one window that doesn't illuminate perfectly, but that's okay. In fact, I don't even know if I've noticed it. Okay, the other thing we've done here to prepare the saucer section is we've drilled a hole right here in the middle on the bottom where the sensor dome's going to go, and again on the bridge. It's just a nice little hole drilled through with a Dremel, and that's to allow light to come in to illuminate those domes. Okay, the next step here in preparing the saucer section for lighting is to drill the holes for the navigation lights. So you're going to have 2 sets here. One of them is here for the red and the green, and the other is underneath here on the bottom of the saucer. There's 2 white navigation lights. There is also a navigation light on the bow. It's just a white one that's solid state, always white, and we're going to do always white on the bottom. Anyway, get a little ahead of ourselves here. What I want to talk about is why this tape is here. So this tape is here to give me an idea of where these lights need to be drilled, where the holes are. So one of the cool things about these kits sometimes is that the manufacturing of these things gives us a little tool to be able to align stuff. And in this one in particular, on the saucer section, underneath here, you'll notice these 2, hopefully the light's picking up, there's a little bump here. There's a little round bump here and a round bump there. I don't know if you can see it. Yes, I think you can. Right there and right there. Now, luckily for us, these 2 little bumps here are exactly in line with the center of the ship. So if we take a piece of tape and we lay that so that it's going in between these two and extend that out, we'll have a direct center line, pretty much, at least as close as we can, from where the bridge is. So we can drill holes to put the lights in. So for this one, I'm going to put them in about a 1/2 inch inside. In fact, well, I can kind of eyeball it here. I'll just do one pen cap. Why not? That's a 1/2 inch or so. So I'll just mark one right there. That might be a little too far in. The only thing I'm concerned about is having it touch the side here. But and then also we do have some lights down here. So let's see. I think it's more important to have the light on the top. We'll do about halfway there. So we'll do a pen cap plus and then half that. Hopefully my head's not getting in here. So anyway, okay, so right about there. These two guys. So I've marked those with the Sharpie. And now I know where to drill. So I'm going to do the same thing here on the other saucer. Well, I'm going to do this a little off camera so I can see and get this aligned just right. Okay. Well, maybe not. Okay, so that's right in between these two circles. And by the way, folks, when I'm doing these, before I start handling these things, I did wash my hands really well and dry them. Because remember, we did clean these off. And I want to try to keep as much of my hand oil off of these things. Okay. Well, there we go. That's the marks for the holes there. And I'll be drilling a hole in there with the Dremel soon. Now, let's go to the oh, I forgot here. There's also the bow here. That one we can whoops. We don't need to put the tape on for the bow. We've got another circle right here, thankfully, and then there's this line. So we don't want to drill a hole there. So this is why I mark these on the underside of this, because you got these little tabs here, and you want to make sure that you're not getting in the way of that. So we'll just move back a little bit, and we'll just put a dot right there, right in the middle. And we'll do another one here. Move it back a little bit. We'll just do that dot there. That gives us plenty of room for the SMD to go there. Okay. So let's go back to the bottom of the saucer section. There's the back of the ship. So now for these guys here, there's these two circles here. You may not be able to see it, but they're there. These are those things we're talking about. I'm just going to go ahead and plop these ones right on the middle, right in the middle of there. I may have not have gotten the middle right there. Gosh, I sure hope my head isn't getting into the shot. Anyway, yeah, right there. So there's these two circles. Again, these are a little bit further in than we normally would, but we got to keep in mind that this is a very small model. We're putting these SMDs in here, and believe it or not, they do take up a lot of room. Especially when you have one on the top, one on the bottom very close to each other, there is a chance they can smush and get in each other's way. So we want to bring one of them in a little bit further than the other two. So we'll just say, for example, this one's about 3/8 of an inch, maybe 2/8, maybe a 1/4 inch in. This is a little bit more than that. So we can make sure we have that set. So we'll do another dot here, and of course I could just remember to drill these, but it always helps just to have the marks in there, just so that you know you can plan out your attack there. All right, so yeah, again, I did put these sprues here. Probably didn't need to, because these are going to illuminate the bridge up in here. So I probably could have just laid them flat. I might just do that. But who knows? I mean, you could just lay them in there. It really doesn't. We'll see. kind of got a little sprue happy there, but in these two, I could have just laid them flat. But that's okay. Maybe I'll pull them off. We'll decide to do that in the second. In fact, you know what? Why don't we just do that? Why don't we just fix our errors? We'll just correct these little oversights that we do. Again, I got all happy thinking, ooh, I'm going to show everyone the sprue technique. And what do? I got a little happy with it. That's okay. I will save these though. I might need them later. Never know. Come on. Anyway, while I do this, I'm going to think about what we're doing next. And then we will come right back. Probably with some, we'll get some of the sliding laid down and come back and show how that's working out. So see you in a second, folks. Hey guys, just a little aside here. So want to call attention out to the side of the bridge right here. You see this little notch there that we've drilled in, and it's right here. And that is being done with this pin vise here. So I'm going to zoom out here. This is a feature I'm adding to this kit. The previous times I've built it, it doesn't have that. But on models of the Enterprise, there are two little red lights on either side of the bridge that light up, and they're red. So I decided I'm going to add them into this build here. So I'm just going to demonstrate this if I can. Get that. So I'm just, sorry about the angle here. So I'm just using the pin vise, putting a little pressure and just turning it. This is a really great tool, by the way. If you don't have one, they're not very expensive, and it's a really nice thing to add to your arsenal. Because the Dremel tool is great, but the thing is, it spins at such a high speed that you often get some melted plastic here on the bit, and then it's a bear to get off. You have to use like a razor blade and do it, and it can be unsafe if you're not careful, and things can break. But the pin vise is a little slower. It can hurt your fingers a little bit, but you do get nice, accurate, clean holes in there. So for that, what we're going to do is we're going to use some fiber optics on this one, and this is 0.75 millimeter, and you could, I don't know if it was in focus, you could see it goes right in there, and we'll light the tip of this with a lighter, or just bring it a light flame close to that to get that little mushroom end, and so it will not go through that hole. We've demonstrated that before. I'll show that again when the time comes, but we're going to use a little fiber optics on this kit, not only here, but on the side of the ship as well, and a couple other places there. So we're trying to pull out all the stops and go a little above and beyond what we normally do. The other thing I did here, I want to show on this section, is I've added, if I can get the darn thing to aim, this hole here. I've bored a hole through there now. Even though it's not in the original series, I am going to put a strobe light up here because other iterations of the Enterprise C, Enterprise D, Enterprise E have a strobe light on the top on the bridge, and this little tab there never really seemed to show any purpose for me, so I figured that would probably be where a strobe light would go. And seeing as how the original model was, they were constrained by budget and materials, the original 11-foot ship was made of wood, so lighting it would have been difficult back in the 60s. So we're going to go with a little light there, and then I'll use the solar res to make a dome on there. I won't use the fiber optics. I'll use a little bit of a dome effect and cover that, and we'll put an SMD right here underneath there and get that going right into there. So we're adding the little strobe effect there. We're adding a couple little red lights there. And then later, we're going to be doing the 4 lights here in the corner. Mike had asked if I can include those on this one, even though they're on this ship, on the kit, it's a decal, but we're going to go ahead and build those into this somehow. I'll figure it out. But anyway, that's a little update here. So I'm going to continue working, getting the lights installed here. I've already got these two installed there. They're going to illuminate the bottom part of the saucer section. And then, of course, we're going to put the red and green lights on port and starboard there. Again, red is the left side, or port, green is starboard. So I always make sure and write down the color here, because when you have these things turned upside down, you can get a little bit disoriented on which side is which. So it's always good to write down G or R or whatever code you want to use. If you want to be in Spanish, you can put V and R for Verde and Rojo, whatever you want to do. So that was a little update there. Just a couple little extra features we're going to do on this kit to make it the best ones we've done yet. So stand by, folks. See you soon.